I felt like God was saying this is encouragement for people who are feeling like they're wandering in their mission field. They know that they're supposed to be there, and this is a mission field that God has called them to be at, whether it's in your workplace, your community, your church, or your neighborhood that you're walking around for. Whatever it is that God has put a passion on your heart for, but you're feeling like you're alone. Where is your teammates? Supposed to be people that are around you working together on this, but you're feeling very alone. This is a word of encouragement for you this morning. If you guys are from Toronto, you'll know that there's this mall called Pacific Mall. It's Asian mall that's basically flooded with people all the time before COVID, anyways, before all the lockdown. I had a vision that so there's just one person walking around the mall, and then there was no one around. As you were walking alone, I found God in a corner, and he had this huge cotton candy machine. He was actually wrapping people around in that cotton candy machine and making them into cocoons, essentially. And then he was hanging them on the ceiling. And when I looked up, all over, hung over the ceiling were thousands of cocoons. It was like a forest of cocoons. And that's when he made me realize that like I was looking at all around me what I was lacking, but what I wasn't seeing was what God was doing. And cocoon always represents for me people in metamorphosis, as in they're in that transition. God is working in their hearts and he's like ripping everything apart. You know, in a cocoon, there's just these juice inside the cocoon that kind of essentially melts the caterpillar. So takes apart everything that person has ever been and was, the bad parts, and heals all of that and prepares that caterpillar to be ready to metamorphosize and transition to become that butterfly. What God was saying was that there's all these people, thousands, millions, of dare to say billions of people that are actually being prepared for the harvest that is to come. Thousands that he's preparing specifically for your field. And I felt like that was what the mall represented, that the mall was the field, and that we were waiting for people to come in. People that were coming in were essentially non-believers, people that don't yet know who Jesus is, don't have a relationship with Jesus. And the job of that person that is feeling very alone right now, wondering, am I the only one that is aware that we need to prepare this mall for the upcoming opening so that people coming in will know Jesus? No, you're not alone. What you're supposed to be doing right now is to partner with God to prepare everything so that as the people in the cocoon are preparing themselves to be ready for this mission, when they come, when the butterflies hatch, all will be ready. As the butterflies hatch, new people will be coming in and everything will be set up and ready to receive them and introduce them to Jesus and for them to know who they are as the beloved of Christ. And then there was a second part of the vision. I felt like God was also encouraging us to not fall into the temptation of feeling prideful, that I'm the only one that is ready for action and everyone else is still up there preparing with God. The idea of not being prideful came in the second vision. There were all these bunch of people in the trenches of a battlefield, but what they didn't recognize was that they were all zombies. And when they were speaking to one another, rot and insects crawls out of like zombies and stuff like that, was crawling out of the zombies, but they were in the trenches. They were very ready for the fight. And that made me realize that although there's some of us that are not so much in the metamorphosis stage anymore, we have spent our good quality amount of time with God in our healing so that we can be where we are right now. But there's still parts of us, all of us are always in healing and being further sanctified in the image of Christ, further made whole in the image of God that we were made in. And sometimes it's easy to forget that we are still in the process of the remaking and that there's still parts of us that are not fully surrendered to God. There's still parts of us that are broken. There are baggages that we are still carrying around that we are not fully aware of, and how to daily continuing that process of surrendering to God so that what comes out of our mouth will be streams of living water, fountains of wholeness and healing instead of the rot, because the rot is the stuff that we're carrying. When we have unhealed hearts, then we see the world from tainted lenses. We have a tainted heart of interpretation of even his word spoken to us and how we present it into the world. So to daily come in front of God and to surrender. And honestly, the hardest thing for me sometimes isn't just daily coming to God, is that moment by moment as things comes up, to stop what I'm doing and yielding myself to have that honest conversation with God. So for example, one thing that God has been really making me understand recently is that triggers are good things and that he's purposely bringing me into triggering circumstances because there are good things. Okay, hear me out. Why are they good things? Triggers are essentially pointing towards baggages that we're carrying. And we could live our lives being untriggered by purposely avoiding things that will trigger us, reminding us of the baggage that we're carrying around. But God instead has been bringing me to triggering situations a lot lately because He wanted to show me what baggages I was carrying around, what lies I was carrying, what tainted glasses I was wearing every day, and receiving the world in a way that wasn't intended to be received the way that God had wanted me to see. If I was partnering with Him and able to fully partner with Him and see what He's doing and being able to bring my full self to a situation, I need to stop wearing my tainted glasses. I need to not be hindered by my baggages, and I need to have that pure heart surrender to Him. So every time that I was getting triggered recently, I knew it was an invitation for God to ask me to stop. And sometimes you can't stop immediately at that situation, but to put aside time, put a mental note, to put aside time later on, to have that honest conversation with God about what is triggering me, what is the baggage, what is my unhealed place, what is it bringing up about me, lies that I know about me, about my circumstances, about my life, about essentially my relationship with God, and how is that affecting the way I am presenting myself into this world? How is that hindering me from being the full ambassador of Christ everywhere I go? I think that's what the second image was bringing up, was for us to recognize that sometimes when we speak, or sometimes in what we're doing, that we are speaking with the lenses that we carry from all the baggages that we're carrying, and how to also take time to give that to God, and how do we surrender the baggages that we have so that He can further cleanse our hearts, so that He can further use us, and that we are not zombies in the trenches anymore, but more and more glowing in the image of Christ, being the light upon the hill. Anyways, so I hope this was encouraging to you guys. If it was, then please give me a thumbs up, comment below so that I'll know. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I pray that whatever comes up in your day with God today, that may it bring you closer and closer to Him and becoming that person that He had created you to be, and that you will know that you are always loved, you're always accepted, and you will belong to the kingdom of God. Have a great day. Bye.